How do I respond to a K-1 fiancé visa request for evidence? Hi, I'm Erick Widman from Passage Immigration Law, and the key to responding to one of these dreaded RFEs, requests for evidence, is to respond quickly, thoroughly, and professionally. The reason you want to respond quickly is the time that the RFE is outstanding and you haven't responded to it yet means that your application, your fiancé visa petition for your fiancé is not being processed. So that is painful because the clock is not ticking on the standard processing time, which is on average about 5 months. So you want to respond back quickly so you can get the visa approved as soon as possible, of course. However, you don't want to rush through it without being very thorough about your response. The starting point for your response is the RFE document itself. You should use their framework to respond back with the major points laid out for you there. So if they're concerned about 1 or 2 items, that will be the focus. That'll be the emphasis of what you use in your response. But don't just provide the minimum. You do get points for effort, and you do make an impression with the extent of your evidence and the way it's presented to them. So you want to be creative and thorough and exhaust all the possibilities that make sense. You don't want to overwhelm them with 1,000 photos, for example. But in addition to the photos, why not include chat, instant messenger messages, WhatsApp? And not only do you provide a bunch of information, but you organize it very well in your thorough response. You lay it out in a detailed cover letter that lists all of the subcategories of the evidence you're providing. The cover letter will be very detailed, as I mentioned, because you want to show that you're making a big effort because this person is so important to you. If your response is short and quick, the officer reading between the lines is going to think, how important is this relationship to the petitioner? When you provide a detailed, professional, very detailed, exhaustive, thorough response, you are going to communicate, this is very important to me. Please approve this. Okay, the final point I wanted to make in making sure that your response is professional, you've got to keep your emotions under control. You've got to make sure that you are not getting angry, even though you're very annoyed about the additional information they're requesting. They might be asking, prove that you really have met each other in person. And you think, that's ridiculous. Look, I've already provided these 3 things that show we were there in person. Calm down, just provide more. Think of other ways you could show that you have met your fiancé in person. Include affidavits, include a sworn declaration, include other evidence that you've printed off the internet that shows that you were there. Different ways to do it. Every case is unique, and so you got to use the facts as best you can. So in your professional response, say, dear Madame or Sir. Be polite, don't get angry, don't be sarcastic. And as a result, you typically, with your thorough, polite response, will get it approved. Make sure you get it in before the deadline. You have to respond quickly and timely. Think of this as a report back to your teacher or professor, and you want to get approved. You want to make a good impression, and by being professional, you're going to go a long way towards getting that approval.